think it's connected. Maybe. And there it is. Okay. So, I'm already doing another live stream. If you missed the previous live stream, August is going to be a special month where I'm going to be doing twice the number of streams that I usually do because I am on summer holiday and so I have a lot of extra free time. So, dev streams are going to be on Wednesday and game reviews are going to be on Saturday. That's the plan. So, with that said, I actually have some alcohol with me today. We have this. I'm actually not really sure what it is. It's there's apples on it though. I kind of figured it's like a hard cider. Kind of tastes like one. They don't really do hard cider here in Japan. I've seen it sometimes, but it's always like a specialty drink. You know, when I was back in America, you know, you could find hard cider pretty much anywhere. You go to any convenience store and you could find hard apple cider. But here, you know, it's like, ooh, fancy hard apple cider. So it's not as easy to find. So, but I saw this today. Thought it might be hard apple cider. Kind of tastes like it, but kind of not. So, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So, I'm going to try to keep these game dev streams a little bit shorter. I think it's going to be more interesting to people. It'll make it so that they can last through the whole thing instead of being an hour and a half. But just like I had mentioned in my previous live stream, you know, if someone shows up during the live stream and we get to chatting, you know, then I'm not going to just end the stream in the middle of our chat. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, I pushed the wrong button. Did I push the right button? I did push the right. Okay, we switched. Okay, good. All right. So I've gotten a lot of work done since last time I showed off the game. So, I think last time... Sorry, you're going to have to excuse me. I have this cut, like, right on the tip of my tongue. And, I don't know why, but I'm sure this is an image you want to know about. But, like, I'm very extra saliva-y because of it. And, and also it's a little bit hard to talk because it's right at the tip of my tongue. So, like, you know, obviously whenever I need to make any sort of sounds that puts the tip of my tongue on the top of my roof, it hurts just a little bit. So, anyways, ignore me if I have to suddenly just, I don't know, if I interrupt myself. Anyways, yeah, so last time I streamed, I don't actually remember where I left off. I definitely know that I had been working in the cave. And, so I believe I had been showing up to the right ribbon. I think at that point in time, I think I had pretty much finished a lot of it. There just need to be some detailing done. And so, now I'm at that point where all that's been finished. So, just to kind of quickly go over what I've done. So to explain, since we have some new viewers here, the way my game is set up is that there's like 3 levels that the player can go through in any order that they want. Up here, the north, I know I said 3 levels. There's 4 directions. The north is going to be to the final boss, and so. You have these 3 levels that you can go to. I've already completed, this was the first level that I completed. And so that was the beach, the sea, and now I've been working on the east exit over here, which goes to the cave, west, I said east, west, to the west exit. It goes to the cave, and I'd show this off before, so you have this main foyer, that leads to the central area. This is going to be an area that the player is going to come back to occasionally. There's 3 entrances. There's here, these 2 right here, these 2 right here, and then these stairs both lead to the same place as well. So we have the left ribbon is what I'm calling this. And the way that this works is it's basically like a giant loop. And so the player will actually is suggested to enter from the top entrance, and they'll come up through here, go through here, go through this exit here, that's going to lead them here. We'll solve a puzzle here, go through there, that brings them to the merge right here. And then they need to pick up an item over here before they can go down here. That's what all the black is right there. The black is just there to indicate to me that I need to put some events here. Like, obviously, it's not going to be like that in the game, but I hadn't placed any of the events throughout the map yet. I've just been, like, laying out the tiles, so there's no events. So anyways, they'll go in here, into this room. This is like a little trial, I guess you could say. And then after they get the chest, after completing the trial, they can come back in here, do this, come down, and now go into the lower part, which will lead them here. They'll solve a little combat puzzle that's in here, and that'll bring them back to this room here, where they can now exit out and come back to the central. So, and then last time I had been working on the right side, which is going to be here. So this one's kind of the inverse of that, where the other one you're recommended to, you know, start at the top entrance. This time you're going to start at the bottom entrance, so we're going to be here. Looks like ref map stuff. Nice to see you here, by the way, Fortuna Street. What's a ref map? So anyways, I start here. There's a little puzzle to get across and go through here. Go through here. There's two ways through here. I'll show this. I can show this off now, actually. That north path goes through here, which is going to take you to another part. I'll show you in just a moment. But the player will need to go this way. And, which my camera, no, my camera's not. Oh, yeah, it is, FSM, actually. It's modified FSM. Here, it goes to the merge. So the merge is here, there's a puzzle in here, but once again, just like on the left side, the players would want to go through this way first, and that'll bring them into this room here, where once again, there's a little, sort of a little trial, a little combat challenge here, before they are able to get a chest, and leave back through this way, and then make their way back through through the top. So the way that this left side works, I kind of like this, is that there are puzzle elements that are on the top layer of this, and there are I'll tell you where it came from in just a moment. So what I really like about this is that, so there's basically the player needs to have foresight is basically what it is. So with the right ribbon, the player will start on the lower part with the cliff up here with the upper part. And basically what they have to do is they'll have the ability to see what's going on up here, but obviously they can't go up here. So without being able to interact with any of the puzzle pieces up here, they need to set up the puzzle to be solved in advance. It's pretty easy here. But with this one, not that one, this one, there's a lot of puzzle elements to interact with. So you'll have platforms that need to be set, which is what these black dots are for. They're just there to remind me that I need to set the platforms. And then you'll also have these water tanks here. And I'll show off what those water tanks are for in just a moment. But anyway, so you have to decide which one of these water tanks needs to be filled and where to set the platform. But you can't solve the puzzle until you actually get to the upper part, if that makes sense. So the players need to think about what to do ahead of time. So I think it's kind of fun. So the lava tiles themselves came from one of the, what is it called? Whatever. What is it? RPG Maker, Kokoro, something, I don't know. Kokoro Reflections, that's the one. Where They have so many of these fucking things. Here, let me bring this over here so we can see. No, it's not Wrath of the Volcano. I think it was like called the Phoenix Palace or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, here it is. This one, the Legendary Palace's Phoenix. So there's the lava tile. Yeah, I wasn't really excuse me. I wasn't really happy with the default like lava that comes with RPG Maker. It didn't look quite dramatic enough for what I wanted. And so I was looking for like a good volcano tile set when I saw this tile set. I actually want to use the rest of this tile set as well for another part of my game. But for right now, this is just sort of supposed to be sort of like a cave, so I didn't want all the fancy tiles and stuff. I really just wanted the lava itself. So I bought this tile set just for the lava. But like I said, I'll use the rest of the stuff later at some point. But when I also downloaded it, I kind of liked the like color combination. This like purple with the red of the lava. I just kind of like that stuff. So I decided to like recolor the FSM stuff to kind of have that purple hue to it. It took quite a while to actually do this because I didn't just like slap a purple hue on it, but I actually made like, you know, some tasteful choices of where the purple hue goes itself. So, yeah. And yeah, I know the KR stuff, yeah, that was my biggest problem because when I was working on the beach level here, so I had a tough time, like I wanted to create this like rocky, rugged coast, and I had a tough time trying to find a tile set that could do that. And it bothered me so much because this is actually how I found KR's stuff, is that they had like a nice beach tile set and it had some like, some, debris and stuff to make it look, to allow for creating like a rugged looking coast. But the art style was just so different that I just couldn't go with it. What I wound up doing with, this is all FSM stuff as well, but actually this is what got me into learning how to modify my tile sets, is that I did not know that. Yep, okay. Anyways, it's fine because it's all been worthwhile because my tile sets are just a little bit more customized. So I took the time. I learned how to like, process tile sets. I merged. This tile set itself is like FSM's. It's mostly FSM's Rocky Cave. I think that's where a lot of it came from. Plus a little bit of the town. FSM's like Town of Beginnings, I think is what it's called. A little bit of that, and then also a very tiny bit of the forest tile set as well. I don't think I used too much of the forest tile set. I think just for a couple of like little doodads or whatever from the forest tile set. So, you have me curious now. So what is it called? Ref map? So RPG Maker ref map. See, I only knew about the FSM stuff because it's like the official releases. Is there like a link to their website or something? Is ref map just an abbreviation? It's in Japanese. Mm, is that just the name of their website, or is that like an abbreviation of it? If I just typed in refmap.co.jp, would that come up? No. It's not going to be blocked for me because I live in Japan, so. Refmap.wix site. Blog. Does this look familiar to you? There's some stuff. There's some stuff. I might use these. I've been needing some cracks. There's like some sand. Neat. I'll keep this in mind. So it's not like they give away full tile sets, but it's just kind of like bits and pieces. Ooh, always need more trees. I'll definitely take those. Yeah, yep, there's the lava. Huh. I don't know, I still kind of like my lava. I like the high contrast look of the lava. Where we go? Where's... like this, I don't know, you kind of have like the dark spot with the light. I don't know, it looks quite dramatic. If you look for tile sets, you have full sheets in the categories. Categories. Tile. There's like A1. Wait, okay. Monster. My katakana is terrible. Oshirase. I can read that. I can read hiragana no problem. My katakana sucks. I've lived here for so long. I have no fucking excuse for being so bad at katakana. And the category is the one with an 8. This one. Oh yeah, Tairusetto. I see that now. Oh yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of a full set. There's not like I would still probably have to merge it with something because it's like not. It's missing a lot of stuff. Oh shit, yeah, there's some nice lava pieces there. What is this bright green for? For chroma keying or something? Oh, this is a good resource to know about. Well, thank you for sharing that. Definitely think I will use some of the stuff from here. Even if I don't use the full tile sets, because like I said, I think a lot of these are still kind of pretty incomplete. So I would still need to merge them, but like no big deal. Having more like lava doodad things is nice. It's one thing I've really felt kind of frustrated with in my tile set here, my remake of this FSM cave tile set, is that like I don't feel like I have enough doodads to populate the ground with. I feel like I'm just constantly reusing the same rocks and spires and whatever else. So having more of that kind of stuff would be great. Maybe go back through this cave and kind of give it a little bit more life. So, see, they're a bit incomplete, but they're good complement. Yes, yeah, they look like they're a good complement to the rest of FSM stuff. And considering that's pretty much everything that I use in my game. Like I mentioned here, there's the KR reflection stuff, Kokoro reflections, whatever. Their art style is a little bit mismatched. The one thing with the Phoenix tile set, because I remember looking at this, is that I think this tile set is like the Phoenix itself kind of seems a little bit mishmashed, but the actual like floor tiles and everything else I think goes okay with the FSM stuff. I think it's because it's so simple. Like when you start getting into more detailed stuff like grasses or trees or whatever, you really start to notice the difference in art style. But when it comes to like really simple stuff like floor tiles and stuff like that, I think it's fine. So like the wall maybe is a little bit mishmashed, but it's no big deal to me. So yeah, but yeah, most of the stuff that I use is going to be FSM. So yeah, always glad to have more of that stuff. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed actually because on Steam there's not a lot of FSM stuff available. Kind of wish they had done like more different environments. See, this is the one thing about Kokoro Reflections is that they're constantly producing new shit, but you don't really see it with FSM. First Seed Miracle FSM, yeah, Miracle. That's not gonna come. Come on, come on, Steam. Just trying to search it on Steam. But yeah, you get the point. Yeah. I thought I had. Oops. No. Was that? Did I show a bad thing there? I think actually all the like live streaming stuff is censored automatically. So if I did accidentally show my live stream page, I think it's fine. Yeah, what was I trying to do with that? I just panicked there for a little bit. What's on that page? Okay, nothing, just my chat and my statistics. So it's not like my stream key or anything like that. So it's fine. I didn't show anything bad. I didn't dox myself. Anyways, what was I looking for? There was something I saw a while back. I think I was trying to look up FSM stuff. For let's search RPG Maker. RPG Maker First Seed Miracle. Let's bring this back over here. I thought I'd read something. Yeah, here. Although this post, I guess, is kind of old. I read this a while back. When was this posted? This was in 2014. Oh, jeez. Okay, saying that they returned. Anyways. I don't know. I thought I had read something about like the authors not continuing anymore, so I figured whoever is doing ref map is not like the original author of. I don't know, but I could be. I'm probably completely wrong about that. Anyways. So last time I did a dev stream, I actually This is a while ago. I had sent off my game project to be worked on by someone. And technically, I could have still could have like done some development work while I was gone, because obviously I have backups of it here. But I don't know. It gave me a chance to just kind of take a break from working on my game, and he helped me set up something really, really simple. But I'm glad he set it up anyways. Let's take a look. So I have this fancy new options menu. I'm happy with this options menu. Obviously, it's using Yep's option core, Yanfly's option core, but I've added some new functions into it that do not come by default with Yep option core. So first we have key bindings. I actually got this done just before streaming. I had to bust open the plugin itself and figure out how to do this. So this is Yep keyboard config. This is the plugin itself. And what I really, really hate is that you cannot specify what keyboard layout is the default. I don't know why Yanfly doesn't provide that option. It just, I guess Yanfly just decides everyone wants to use fucking arrow keys. And I don't want that to be the default. There is an option to switch to arrow keys if you want. Actually, no, here's the thing, all right? Let's go back to the game, right? We have this open. All right, I want you to look at option score, right? So right now we're using what I've called the modern standard. This is WASD. Look at the keys that it uses. Look at that. There's already arrow keys assigned. So even if you prefer using arrow keys, you can still switch to WASD movement, and still use arrow keys. So, like, I don't know why this isn't the default. This is the default, like, I didn't change anything with the WASD profile that's set up by default in Yanfly's option core. But for some reason, it starts like this, which is just weird to me, because, like, you don't get the best of both worlds with this as the default. Why is this the default option? I don't know. And Yanfly doesn't even give you the ability to choose in the plugin parameters what's the default one to use. Do you want to use arrow keys or WASD? So I spent some time earlier poking and prodding through the plugin, and I figured out how to change that. And I actually thought about posting like a tutorial on the RPG forums in case anyone else was also curious about this. Although I'm sure, judging by the number of fucking RPG Maker games I've played at this point that just use arrow keys and don't even want to offer WASD as an option, that no one gives a shit on the RPG Maker forums. They're all content with their fucking arrow keys. So no one's gonna care about my tutorial, but I'm gonna fucking publish it anyways. It's pretty easy. Just right here in the config manager, we can see that he defines default map. Oh, you did the same thing? Nice. So yeah, you have your config manager default map, and this is, as it's called, default. That's the default option. And then config manager WASD map. So if I just go down here to line number 613, it is loading the default config, and it was before I made this comment here for myself because I'm a coding dummy. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget what the default setting was, so I put this comment here. But this was the original setting, config.default or config manager.default map, and all you have to do is replace that with config manager.wasd map. So now I've got that set up. So hooray! Now it starts on this option by default. Hooray! Which, like I said, I don't know why you wouldn't do that anyways, because it uses arrow keys. It does move the page up, page down functions. Like you have page up, page down on Q and E or Q and W over here. But Otherwise, you still have your arrow keys. Everything else is almost exactly the same between the two. So again, I just don't know why this isn't the default setting. Oh well, anyways. So I got that set up. If we go to general options, I've moved some stuff around in Yep option score as well, because I think by default, Yep option score gives you like too many categories. So I deleted, I don't remember what the other category was. I think it was like gameplay. It was like gameplay, audio, visual. Oh god, what was it? I don't even remember. I think there was just a general. There was like a general, audio, visual, and gameplay option. I don't know. Either way, there was like too many options, so I deleted it and just sorted it down to this and kind of moved some stuff around. Like I think battle animation speed was under visual, which I can kind of understand that, but as someone who plays a lot of PC games, this is something that like affects gameplay and not necessarily, you know, like when I think visual kind of stuff, that's like graphical settings, like performance settings, stuff like that. This doesn't seem like a performance setting, so I moved it under general. Oh, I think also, oh, did I? Okay, never mind. I left it there. All right. I set up this action indicator, which I'll show that off in just a minute. This is using one of the Galv's plugins, but I've been able to, quite easily actually, this is not complicated to set up at all, but I've been able to add controlling Galv's plugin through the option menu here. So if you don't want to use his plugin, then you can easily just turn it off from the menu. By default, this is actually set by on. I don't know why it's off here. It's probably just for playtesting purposes. So I've got that set up, and then you have your audio. Nothing's really been changed there. I have this full screen option. This is one of the things actually I had the guy that I'd commissioned set up for me. Because before I'd been using some random dude's like full screen option, which just adds the full screen option to the options menu. But obviously, Yep's option core completely changes the option menu. So some random dude's plugin didn't work anymore. So now this hasn't been added through plugins, but is actually controlled strictly by the option core instead of by a plugin. So, yep, it's just a full screen toggle option. Glad to have that there. This noise filter, this is the other thing I'd paid the guy for, which was, you won't be able to see this on stream because of the bit rate. You know, streaming bit rate is pretty low, and so when you have like a lot of fine details, they usually get crushed under the terrible bit rate. But basically what the noise filter does is there's some very subtle, you could call it like film grain or just camera noise. There's a very subtle noise effect that I've created myself, actually. It's not through a plugin because I didn't like the way that plugins generated the noise. Like, the one thing that's nice about generated noise is that it's never the same, but it's also quite harsh, and I find it a little bit distracting. So I created my own noise filter, which is actually done through a series of images. And I'll show that. Well, I can't really show it. I can't show it off because of the bit rate. Anyways, it's just like your typical kind of like film grain camera noise kind of thing, but a little bit softer. It's not, I don't think it's quite as distracting. So I set up the option to first enable or disable it. And then second of all, you can control the intensity of the effect. So if you want it to be really subtle, then you can lower it. If you want it just mild, then you can raise it. Or if you want it intense, then you can turn it all the way up. So that's there. Then everything else, you know, this is other stuff that you're probably familiar with. We have fluid time step. This is, I talked about this in one of my, I think the previous game review thing, I talked about fluid time step because I think one of the games that I was playing was using fluid time step and had it off by default and didn't provide the option in the option menu, which is a problem if you're on a screen like mine. I have a 144 hertz computer monitor, so things move a little bit fast. So yeah, I think that's everything that I've done so far. But being able to set up my own custom options now it's great. Like I said, I've been able to add in this action indicator to the menu, and I can do that with so many things now. It's like my brain's been running wild with all sorts of new ideas. Like, what else can I throw in the options menu? I've really considered being able to allow players to disable weather effects, but then it's also kind of like, I mean, I want to set that up because I just want to give players more options, but at the same time, that's kind of stupid. So, this is not a good place to demonstrate. I can, okay. There, in the next room over, I can just display the action indicator. You kind of saw it there briefly. You see that little blue dot appears above the fish. So all it does is it just indicates that you can interact with something. So I can show off this new mechanic, and it's the whole thing that the title of this stream is about, which is throwing fish. So you can see I picked up the fish from the tank there. And so I've set up this little puzzle mechanic. This took for fucking ever to set up, by the way. So first of all, I have a fish in my inventory now. So we can go to key items, there's a fish. Hooray. And if I press the F key, F for fish, well, I throw the fish. Right now there's a bunch of debug text, as you can see. So I have to grab another fish again. And if I go over to this lava, I can throw the fish as well. And it creates a platform, and I can jump on it. Hooray! Oh no, but the platform disappeared and I got hurt. You can see my health is now taking damage because I fell in the lava. So now if I just grab that fish again. Okay, so I have the fish now. Maybe there's a puzzle in the previous room that I want to go interact with. So I'm going to go back to the previous room. Oh no, you can't take the fish outside of the room. It jumps away from you. So there's, yeah, I had to set up all the, this took forever to set up for this stupid fucking fish mechanic. So you're supposed to take the fish to certain areas and you can jump across just like that. Hooray! And it creates a one-way passage because now you can't jump back. So creating one-way passages creates all sorts of fun logic puzzles. So there's that. I'll show off some more of that in just a moment, but let's go in here. And so in this room, you can see these platforms are one way. When you jump on them, they will disappear. There's this little sparkly thing. You can see the action indicator pops up. So you can see, oh, there's the action indicator, so I can interact with it. And what this does is it allows the player to take a look around. It also has this little, tutorial right here. When you're finished looking around, press the action button to exit. Also, ignore the cursor going nuts there. The cursor going crazy like that is because there's a setting that has not been enabled yet, but it will be enabled when you start the game from the beginning. It will slow the cursor down. So. Anyways, so this just allows you to look around and see what the place is like, what's going on, where do you need to go, what are you supposed to do? Because obviously you have limited view when this top-down angle, you can't really see what's ahead of you. So this kind of compromises with that problem and allows the player to just kind of look around. And then when you press the action key, so like OK, it just cancels. And that little tutorial message that pops up, only pops up that once. So, I mean, that's pretty easy to do, but I'm mentioning that for, just to show quality of life. You're not harassed about how to use this every single time. So, there's that. And then I'll just kind of quickly jump through this. This room is not complete yet. There's supposed to be enemies in here, but I haven't set up the enemies for this level yet. I've just been trying to work through the puzzle. So right now, no enemies. You just kind of just jump through like that. So then you get to the switch and you can interact with it. And you get these platforms appearing. Jump across. And then here you can see Galv's indicator a little bit better now. I know I showed it before with the look around mechanic, but now it's in front instead of on top of. So you can kind of see the little blue dot hovering there. Then you just go to options, general indicator, turn it off. And it's, ooh, why didn't it turn off? Uh-oh, that's a bug. Huh, weird. Huh, I had this working earlier, I had tested it, but now it's not working. I'll need to look into that. Is it because I need to push enter? Nope. Huh, I don't know what that's about. Weird. Oh well. Yeah, anyways, the option menu is supposed to turn it off. But it apparently is not working right now. So here's something else I had worked quite hard on. This took forever to figure out. So you can see I'm using the lighting system here. So I'm actually using Terex's lighting system, which I know has been replaced now by community lighting system. I wasn't aware of community lighting system until I had already finished the previous level, and the lighting effect was used a lot in the previous level, and I didn't feel like redoing all of it. Now, community lighting promises that it has like compatibility with Terex's lighting. So I did actually try to use community lighting, but when I put it in, when I implemented it, it apparently was not as painless as they promised, despite turning on a few options that are supposed to make it work the same way as Terex's lighting system works through note tags. Those did not work. Ah. Nice to know. Hey, yeah, wait. You were helping me with this problem. You responded to my thread. I just realized this now. Hang on a minute. You replied to my thread. Where the fuck is it? Yeah. Oh my god. It's your name is the same. I did not fucking realize that. Hey, by the way, the AM doll right here, that's me. So. Yeah, so, yep. Anyways, so I'm gonna show off the same. So the problem I went to the community lighting thread with. So here's the thing. Since you're here, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I tried switching over to community lighting, and I just had some problems with it. There was a couple of light sources that didn't seem to work. When I switched over to community lighting, which was annoying, and I couldn't figure out why, despite setting options that make it compatible with Terex's lighting. So I just, and I don't know, thanks. So anyways, yeah, so I just stuck with Terex's lighting because obviously everything works with it, so oh well. But my problem was that there's the light mask. You know this because I went to the post talking about the light mask. I couldn't figure out how to extend it. You had mentioned using like the screen size thing. I played around with that, but I didn't see it actually working, and maybe that's a problem with Terex's lighting and not community lighting. So I don't know about that. What I wound up doing was instead just fading out the light mask. So when you step up to that switch, so right now this whole room is like a puzzle room, and so when you step up to that switch, the first thing it does is it removes the light mask. So the light mask is gone. And then the map zooms out so you can see, I think you can see the mouse on screen. Yeah, you can see the mouse. Okay, so there's 3 areas here. You have here, here, and down here to spawn a platform. This switch controls that. So there's the platform, and you can move it around. So you can move the platform wherever you want. So zooming the map out allows the player to see the different locations where the platform can spawn. So because the map zooms out, you would see the borders of the light mask. That was the problem I was having. So I decided that I was able to, let's open up good old Notepad++. I opened up Terex's lighting here and sorted through this thing to try to figure out how to adjust the speed at which it fades. Because, excuse me, originally the fade slow, the fade speed of the light mask was so fucking slow. It took forever. It took like 10 seconds for... It's not actually fading. What it is the light circle around the player is just expanding. And it took like 10 seconds for it to go from around the player to the edges of the light mask. And it's way too slow. By the time the player, by the time the player got up to the switch, there would still be like 80% of the light mask still left, fading out, fading out, fading out, fading out. It'd be so slow. So I, once again, opened up the plugin here, taking a look, kind of reading around. What I really like about Terex is that he comments the shit out of his program here. So compared to, I was talking about Yawnfly stuff. I'm sorry, Yawnfly, but you got nothing on Terex as far as commenting goes. I was able to pretty quickly find, narrow the area down that I need to be messing with. To a degree. I wasn't 100% confident because I'm a coding dummy, but I was 80% sure that I was in the right area. You have main player settings, light radius grow. He comments down here, shrinking, growing, and all the default settings there, those are typed in by me, just again because I was playing around with numbers to just see if I could figure out what these numbers do. I felt like an idiot. Good thing he commented. It's also beneficial for any coding dummies like me. I feel stupid because I know a little bit about programming. I took a C# course, an online C# course. It was like a 20-hour course last year, and I read. Do I still have the book over here, or did I finally put it away? I used to have the book over here. No, I think I finally put it away. Oh well. Anyways, also there's a C# for Unity book that I had read through. So I know some very basic stuff. I'm not even gonna. I can't write a program at all, despite taking that 20-hour course, plus the Unity C# book. I still don't feel any more confident in my ability to actually write a program myself. But I at least know that you need to declare a variable, right? So I feel really stupid when I sat here fucking around with this number right here. I was sitting here just jacking it up 9999999, waiting for the grow speed to do something, and nothing would change. And I was racking my brain forever, why is it that I put in so many 9s here and nothing's fucking changing? And then I finally fucking realized that, oh, that's the default value. It's just declaring the variable and setting a default value, and then down here is what's actually setting the value. Oh, it took me for fucking ever to figure out. Such a fucking dummy. But I finally figured it out, and I was able to change this from 500. That was its default setting. 500. It's crazy. So I set it down to 25, and that seems like a pretty comfortable speed to have the light mask come in and out. You know, I think it's pretty good. The one thing I do like about having the light mask completely fade away is that it's not distracting the player. Like, it's not obfuscating any information here. It's not obfuscating any information here. And while on this map, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no important puzzle information here. So that doesn't matter on this map. But on other maps, there may be important puzzle information hidden underneath the light mask. So by removing it, I'm just making it easier for players to get all of the information. Nothing's being obscured by anything. So I kind of actually am more happy with this method than extending the light mask. So anyways, that took me a long time to figure out. Glad I finally did. And now I have this whole puzzle mechanic set up. I spent more time than I'd like to admit trying to figure that out. I mean, if you go to my forum post, it's kind of like a descent into madness. So as usual, I like to post my findings here, you know, like tutorials, so other people who may possibly be looking for the same information can find the answer. I don't just want to keep the answer to myself. But so here's my original post. You can see the already maddening number of GIFs and pictures here, but then as we go on, we see even more GIFs of just nonsense. And now we're posting code. It's just a descent into madness. And I finally fucking figure out the answer. So, anyways, that's how I spent my week. Now we can solve this puzzle. You grab the fish, and then you can jump across. And you take your fish over to the switch. You got to move the platform now. Move the platform, and then you can go up to the platform. I don't have chat open. Hang on. There we go. And then you can jump across, and then you can throw a fish, and there we have it. Oh wait, but damn it, I was too slow. Okay, so the respawn system. There is a respawn system. So that's also something I had to build in. You can set the speed with the 5th parameter, but it isn't in the dock. The 5th parameter? Huh? What's the 5th parameter? Okay. Anyways, see, I was trying to figure out what args was. So if I turned it to 5, would that change the speed? I tried looking for what args was. I couldn't, like, Google searching it, and I was like, I can't figure out what args is. What is args? I was coming up with arguments, like, okay, is it an argument? But then what is the 4? Like, what is 0? What is 1? What is 2? What is 3? What is 4? Is there more than 4? I don't know. Right on. Anyways, well, I came to a solution that worked, so that's all that really matters. So one thing I did want to show off. So something else with this fish mechanic. So I've shown the solution to the puzzle, but if I were to perhaps get the puzzle wrong, like it's very possible that someone would grab the fish, come over here, take the fish, and then they would come over here, throw the fish, jump across, and then, oh no, the platform disappeared, and now, uh-oh, soft lock, how do you get back, right? So what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? How do I get back? What do I do? Oh, what's that? Oops. There we go. Let's see, light radius grow, RCB radius grow in args 0, args 1. Make a bunch of findings when refactoring the code for CL. I see. All right. So, I've implemented a soft lock safety mechanic. So, I think I've shown off pretty much everything I wanted to there. If we look back at this, so what's going on is a crazy number of regions. I've like painted the map. Painted the map in rainbows with regions. I'm sure there's probably a more efficient way to do this, but oh well. So, I think I put all the notes here, yeah. So I have comments here, just to remind me what all these fucking regions do. So, the region 40, which we can see right here, is what's called the save region. That's basically the respawn region. So anytime the player steps into this region, it saves your location. So whenever you fall into the lava, quote unquote, fall into lava, and you respawn, it's going to respawn you at the last saved location. So that's either going to be here in front of the fish, here before the platform, here after the platform, you know, wherever those region 40s are. 41 is okay to throw. So if you see region 41, if you throw a fish here, then you spawn a special platform. There's two different types of platforms that can spawn. So the region 41 spawns a special platform that allows you to jump across, all the way across. While if you throw a fish in region 44, it will spawn a platform, but the platform will not let you jump. It will not let you jump across. You'll only be able to jump on the platform and then jump off the platform. That's all it can do. So that's what 44 is for. I remember that. 43. Oh, sorry. 42 is the platform spawn region. So anytime there's a 42, a platform can spawn in that region. And then 43 is going to be the exit region. So if the player tries to exit the map with a fish on them, then it'll automatically trigger an event at anywhere that there's 43. And then finally, we have 33 and 32. So 33 and 32 are not necessarily related to the fish mechanic, but they are related to the puzzle mechanics, and this is part of the soft lock prevention mechanic that I created. So basically, when the player touches region 32, it starts a timer. And that timer will start counting down to just a little bit longer than a comfortable amount of time. Like, I don't want to just give the answer away that the player... Like, I want to give the chance for the player to consider, oh, I really am soft lock, before actually spawning the platform in. So I think it's like 14 seconds. Might be... It's an odd number, so it's not going to be 15. So it might be 14 or 16. It's a strange number, just because it's like that one extra second than you would expect. So once you touch region 32, it begins that timer. And you can probably guess what region 33 is for then. When you touch region 33, it stops the timer. So that way, you know, I don't want the player to, like, you know, they jump across, they touch region, and they might get stuck a little bit, or they just want to kind of look around for a little bit, just for whatever reason, just having fun. And then they are ready to move on, and they jump across, and then as they're moving on over there, they see the little like glitch flashes and this spawn, and they see that, and they're like, oh, what was that? And they come back over here and then touch it, and then just realize, oh, that's just to reset your position. So yeah, I want to make sure that I give them plenty of time not to accidentally see that event, and I also want to disable it to prevent them from accidentally seeing it. So that's why 33 is there to cancel the timer. So yeah, this fish mechanic took for fucking ever to set up. And like I said, you can see that I've just painted this whole room in region IDs. So yeah. And pretty much throughout this whole week, this is like all I had been working on. That and the stupid light mask and some of the other options as well. Like, I was hoping to get more of the cave done. I've been working backwards, so like I started working on events here in this room. And so the only logical way, like the only logical room to move towards next is obviously going to be this room. So I guess I'm just going to start working on events from here. And then move into here. Thanks, pro painter. I know, right? So, as I was showing earlier at the beginning of the stream, like the way that I set up the cave is that I just kind of started by laying out the tiles. There's no events. This is also partly has to do with just the fish mechanic itself. It's efficient. Like, it feels efficient for me to just focus on doing tiles. So, like, it's not the worst thing in the world. But at the same time, I didn't want to start touching events because of RPG makers. So a long time ago, probably many streams ago, I actually first showed off the fish mechanic. But my problem with the fish mechanic was that it would only work in one room because of the way that RPG Maker just handles events. You can't reassign the event ID number, and the way that I built the mechanic was very, very dependent on a very specific event ID number. And that was kind of problematic. So my prototype, like, it was either going to be if I copied that prototype into other maps, like other maps in the level, I would need to make sure that when I copy the events, I copy them in the right order, which is just, I didn't want to have to keep track of that. But if I was going to keep track of that, then I was going to make sure it's only when I'm focusing on events. So that's why I just started with tiles, and I figured I'd focus on events later. But since building that prototype a long time ago, I have purchased the full, Yawnfly plugin collection, and Yawnfly's event spawner came to the rescue and made it so that way I am not dependent on the event ID anymore. Hooray! Had the same problem with your cupboard. Please do explain. What is your cupboard? And why did you have a problem with it? Let's see, we want to move to the upper. Message retracted. All right. We're waiting. The audience of 0 people is waiting. My cupboards are made of 2 events, one moving the other. Okay. 2 events. Trying to visualize this. Let's borrow a tile set here. So you have, oops, yeah, 2 events. So I always need to check on each map that the correct event is moved. So like you'd be on another map, and if that event is moved. Is this for like aligning the cupboard? Since it's 2 events, you wouldn't want it broken like this. Here, let's actually assign a tile to it so it doesn't look, so we're not just dealing with something invisible. Let's make it, I don't know, let's make it this column. So we'll have the bottom part, and then this can be the top part, just for this demonstration. So, if I understand, moved with the move event command. So you wanted to make sure that, like, if this moved, this didn't stay. You wanted to make sure that they both are in line like that. Am I understanding that correctly? Let's see. No, let's go to the town. So I wanted to, actually, first, hang on, let me take a look at this since I already brought it up. I want to go to options core and I want to check out what's going on with, what is going on with, right, so between maps, the IDs of the event may vary. Yeah. Let's see, action indicator. Oh, I did change this. Change value true, 182, false, false. Okay, so those are set up correctly. So did something get bugged in my common event that controls it? I don't think so. Global meta action indicator is on. All right, I don't know what's going on with the action indicator. If I do new game, and what we want to do is skip events. Oh, I wonder if that's why it was bugged. Oh, I bet it was. So if I go to him, yeah, there's the action indicator. And then I go to options, action indicator, turn it off. And there it goes, it turns off. Okay, so I know why it wasn't working before when I was trying to demonstrate it. So it relies on the parallel event or the parallel common event. And in order for the parallel common event to work properly, which is kind of annoying, you need to have it on a switch. And the switch was, oops, oh no, I didn't mean to change it. Cancel. Discard changes, yes. The switch was not activated because I didn't use my skip event command, nor did I start the game at the beginning of the game that enables that switch. So yeah, obviously it's not gonna work properly. So, but now it's working properly. So you can disable the indicator, or you can go to options, action indicator, turn it on, and it's not. Come on, motherfucker! Why are you doing this on stream? Is it because I pressed spacebar? I guess I'm too much of a coding dummy to realize this, but I hate how there seems to be different sections for pressing the OK button or pressing the left or right options. I mean, I guess you'd need to specify that, but I don't know. Yeah, okay. So the OK code must be borked in my option core, because pressing left and right is no problem. But when I push OK, well, it turned it off there. But it didn't turn it back on. So, yeah. So I think I know where the problem is. It's definitely in the OK code, and I think I know where in the OK code it is. Thanks for being impressed. So it helps you kind of notice what you can interact with. Like, oh, there's that piece of paper. When I step on it, there's an action indicator. A little blue dot pops up. So, yeah. This is something I talk a lot about in my streams, and that's giving players options. And also, I've already mentioned that now that I know how to set up options in Option Core, I have the template set up to be able to add options for just about any plugin that will let me either enable or disable it through commands. Because let me show you how this is done. This is really simple, and it's because Galv allows this, right? So all it is so I created a global meta switch, which you need Olivia's meta controls, I think is what it's called, to be able to do that. So that just allows you to control switches and variables from anywhere. So that allows you to control them from the options menu, from within the main menu of the game itself. So once you have that installed, then you just create a switch for on or off, and then a conditional branch. And using the plugin command that Galv provides, basically this turns it on, otherwise turn it off, right? So it's really simple to set up. And then you just have to set up the options core to be able to handle it. And options core is a real fucking mess to deal with. But I started this stream talking about commissioning someone to help me with the options core stuff. Like, everything I commissioned him for, I told him this too, is like, I'm not just commissioning him to fix my problem, but I'm commissioning him to basically publish resources for other people. So I have a thread now about options core that basically provides templates for you to be able to add options to your game. All you got to do is just copy the code there, and that's all the code that this guy wrote for me. So there might be a discrepancy in the OK code, though, because this is actually, I just copied my own template, and it seems that there is a problem here. Nope, there's not a problem with it. I just forgot to switch I forgot to change what switch it's controlling. My bad. There we go. That'll fix that. All done right there. Should have been 182. All right. So, yeah. Anyways, I think I interrupted my own self saying I talk a lot on my Bad RPG Maker game streams about providing options, especially when it comes to like controls, but just providing options in general for players to set up the game how they want to play it. And I think more options, like, you can never have enough options. Sometimes it gets a little bit crazy. Like, I was talking about maybe having options to disable weather. I think that might be going a little bit crazy, because you start really affecting the way that the game works. It might not, see, the weather is kind of like borderline, because weather can have a performance impact on low-end hardware. So it's like allowing players to turn that off would be a good thing because, you know, players who have low end hardware might actually be able to play your game by disabling the weather. But if you disable the weather, then it also kind of controls the atmosphere, like the artistic integrity of your game too. So it's like, I think weather's kind of borderline. I'm trying to think of some things that are maybe not borderline though. That I've thought about. I had a few ideas not so long ago about things I could add to the options menu that I kind of realized, no, that's kind of stupid. No, don't give players that option. I don't know. There's all sorts of things that I think, I don't know. It's up to you, the developer, to decide what options they can have. But I think, like I said, most of the time, providing, yeah, well, there you go. Most of the time, providing an option for players, like, it's never gonna do. It's rarely, I shouldn't say never. It's rarely ever going to do harm to your game. It's only going to benefit your game. In your case with weather, and I I should look into this. If you have like intense weather like that, maybe providing an option to not disable the weather, but to turn down the weather. That way you kind of compromise. You're not completely removing the atmosphere and hurting your game's artistic integrity, but you're still giving players the option to hopefully not, you know, toast their phone or whatever they're playing on. Like, I don't know, it's hard to find really shitty low-end hardware that can't play RPG Maker games nowadays. But I guess there are still some people out there who might be using that kind of hardware. So, you know, at least allowing them to maybe get a few more frames out of it. Like for me, I don't know what I'm gonna do to like playtest my games. Oh, I pushed F2 to bring up my FPS counter, but that showed my face. You can see the FPS counter up there. So, I don't know. I don't know. I think my laptop is a little bit too much of a piece of shit. I think my laptop's too much of a piece of shit to be able to run this game at all because it can barely run like YouTube at like 240p. My laptop's a real piece of shit. So it's kind of like I have the two extremes. I have my desktop, which is way more powerful than is necessary. So I can't get a good idea of players' performance. But at the same time, my laptop is too much of a piece of shit to even run the game. Maybe. I haven't tested it. Maybe it can run the game just fine. I hope so. So I could test the game on low-end hardware and see what works. But I'm glad to hear that at least allowing for a low weather option is in your idea box. Streaming is also a good way to reveal lag. Yeah, if you're not on a Ryzen... you're not on a Ryzen 16-thread CPU, it's fun. It's a good way to test it. I'm on a Ryzen 2700X, which, granted, is not the, you know, the newest generation of CPUs, but honestly, that is such overkill in horsepower for RPG Maker games that I don't notice anything. I don't notice any performance hit when I'm streaming and playing the game at the same time. No, I mean, look at all the shit I have open, right? I'm streaming through OBS right now. I have Photoshop open. I have Steam open, which is over here. I have Firefox open with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tabs open. Oh yeah, I have Discord open as well. Discord's open on the other screen. So like I see. It could potentially be a limitation of the engine as well, because I think it's very single core bound. I could be talking out of my ass here. How do you view cores again? There we go. There's cores. No, that's just CPU. Oh gosh, I don't remember how to view cores. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So, I'm not using fucking shit on my CPU, man. Yeah. Well, there's a weird spike on core 2. Okay. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be tough to tank frame rate on my computer unless we deliberately tried to make, like, it's obviously not impossible. You could easily make like a game that literally just does a bunch of bogus script calls and has like a bunch of particle effects. That's like the whole purpose of the game is meant to destroy frame rate. Like, obviously you could do that, but I don't think any practical game, any practical RPG Maker game would be able to really tank performance on my computer. Not even necessarily my computer. I think there's a lot of modern hardware, not even high end, but just modern, like, regular hardware, like moderate stuff like i5s, Ryzen 5500, the 500 demarcation SKU, whatever, is like the equivalent of an i5, I think. Like, I think any of that kind of stuff, I think it would be tough for a practical RPG Maker game to tank the frame rate. But we'll see. You sound like it's a challenge. So whenever your game gets released, send it my way just to benchmark. We'll see how much shit I can open up. Hang on. Let's open up Premiere as well. Open up Premiere, and I don't know. Let's render a video while we're streaming. I think most of the CPU is gonna be on rendering the video, and not because of RPG Maker. Let's see. Let's go to here. Let's go to where are my videos? What's this? I have an old Forza Horizon 5 video. Let's throw that in there. I don't know. Let's just do a new project. Let's call this Frame Dropper. And we'll throw this Forza Horizon 5 video in here. There we go. What am I doing?
Got in line ahead of me as well.
Oh, okay. I think I remember this. I think I was trying to get hit by a train. Yep. All right. So that's a video, and we'll just go to export, and I don't know. Let's export it as H.264, and we'll just call this Frame Dropper. Render at 2K, 60 frames per second. Yep. All looks good. Export. All right, here we go. OBS, still looking good. How are we doing over here? Still holding up at 140. Yeah. Still stable. Still looking stable here. How are we rendering here? Okay, all right. We're going. Yeah. Like I said, I think it's gonna. I'm interested. I'm interested in your challenge. Yep, still going. OBS is not reporting any dropped frames. Still at 0% drop frames. So there you go. There's something else you can add to your idea book. While you're adding the I'm seeing some like weird frame timing issues. Like it's still reporting fairly stable frame rate. So it probably is not going to show up on stream either because I stream at 30 frames per second. But there's like these micro hitches, these very micro stutters that I can feel them, but it's still reporting a pretty stable frame rate. But it's there. Anyways, while you're adding the low end weather effects, you should add in ultra nightmare weather effect mode just for the hell of it. So you have your normal setting, the setting that everyone should play at, and you have the low setting for all the low end hardware, and then you have the ultra max setting, the crisis mode. That just melts CPUs. You can't see what the fuck you're doing. Okay, there's a couple of drops to 120. All right. Let's see. Is it finished? Hey, it's finished. Yep. All right. Well, I look forward to whatever challenge you put together. Actually, this was something that me and one of the other folks on the RPG Maker forums had talked about. I actually wanted to make some sort of, or I can't make it because, like I've mentioned before, I'm a coding dummy. But he's a programmer, and I was thinking about commissioning him to basically make a benchmarking plugin. So all the plugin would do is he could do it however you want. I didn't really care if he wanted to spawn a ton of particle effects, that's fine, or if he wanted to do a bunch of bogus script calls, that's fine. Either way, the point is that the plugin would just benchmark it effectively. I don't know how we could do this. We could either just set it on a timer, like you'd have like a lot of canned benchmarks just kind of run through a scene that's like a 3-minute long scene, and then depending on how many frames it spits out, you get a score at the end. I was thinking like it could be something like that. Like you could just run a timer while it makes bogus script calls, and then obviously the higher your frame rate is, the more bogus script calls it could do. So it could just, I don't know, assign a variable, just keep adding to a variable, like +1 script call, +1 script call, +1, and then the higher your frame rate is, the higher that +1 should be, and then we could benchmark we could just benchmark RPG Maker with just different plugins. That was kind of what it came down to, was that we wanted to benchmark different types of plugins and how they affect performance. So, and I actually wanted to do a video about RPG Maker game performance, because there does seem to be a consensus. I've seen bits, like, I haven't really looked into this so much, but I've seen like some murmurings, I guess you could say, that some people seem to have experienced pretty poor performance from RPG Maker games, which seems kind of weird. Well, I guess it's poor performance for a 2D game. And so the video I wanted to do was kind of investigating that, and to an extent would be benchmarking different types of plugins, because one of the things we were going to investigate was plugin obfuscation and different methods of obfuscation and how that could impact performance. But he is busy. I shouldn't have assumed gender. Could be she. I don't know. But anyways, they are busy with their own game, and after some discussion, a little bit of back and forth, kind of decided to scrap the idea. So I'm still kind of interested in doing it. So I don't know if you find time, if you want to make some sort of benchmarking tool for RPG Maker MV. That was the other problem too. That was another reason why we had scrapped it, is because he primarily programmed for MZ. So yeah, that was the other reason why we kind of scrapped it, was that we're on two different programs. Yeah, there's that. There's I've kept some notes. Oh my gosh, I have so much shit open. Oh my god. Okay. No, we can throw away frame dropper. Or we can look at the success. Here we go. There's frame dropper. That's what we rendered while we were chatting here. It's glorious, I guess. I don't know. So, anyways, let's throw that in the dumpster there. Let's see, do I still have the RPG Maker videos? RPG Maker's performance problems. Okay, so I have some stuff here to reference if I ever get around to making this video. There was this posting here, which this is not really about the performance itself, but could, like, this kind of attributes a lot of the reason why sometimes performance is bad, is that he's talking about that the version of Node.js that comes with RPG Maker MV is or NWJS? I don't know. Whatever. This is outdated, and by updating it, you increase performance by quite a lot. So there's that. And the same person also talked about GPU performance as well, where it seems like RPG Maker tends to default to your integrated graphics. So I didn't do this because I don't have an integrated graphics. I just have a dedicated graphics card. But anyways, if you are running on like a laptop, and sometimes laptops will have integrated graphics with the CPU, but sometimes will also include dedicated graphics chip as well. So if you're on a laptop, then you may have a problem with RPG Maker defaulting to the integrated graphics, which is going to be a lot worse than the performance on the dedicated graphics that's in the laptop. So there's a couple of things there that may contribute as well to the performance stuff. So I have these materials here that I've saved for whenever I get around to that video. There's also I have this I have this benchmarking tool. This is actually is this it? Hang on. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so this is a benchmarking tool that was actually made for MZ, but it's not quite the same as what I was talking about. So basically all it does is it just gives you graphs on the current performance. The benchmarking tool I was talking about was actually like, you know, it was a stress test. This is the kind of benchmarking stuff that I was talking about. It's just, you know, running, like I said, running a bunch of bogus script calls, or just rendering a bunch of particle effects or whatever, just to slow the game down a lot. This plugin doesn't do it, but I've saved it anyways. It's also for MZ, which I don't have MZ, so can't even test it anyways. And there's the original post where the guy, I had just copied it to text because there was some concerns that the post actually might get deleted. So I copied it to text. But anyways, where he ran some tests of his own. It's not very conclusive, which is basically where the idea came about, was that I wanted to kind of expand on this because like I said, his stuff was not very conclusive. So I wanted to expand on what he had already written about. So that's the idea. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it, but I've saved all these resources in the event that I do. So, anyways, that's that. Now, I've been streaming for quite a bit longer than I expected. It's nice to have you join me here. Gives me someone to bounce off of. But I do think I'm finished streaming for the day. So, like I said, thanks for joining me. On Saturday, I'm going to be reviewing more RPG Maker games. So we'll see how that goes. I have quite a handful picked out, and I had a few more sent to me as well that I'm looking forward to looking at as well. So I'm glad a lot of people seem to be interested. Also, I think I mentioned this last stream, but I want to mention it again. So before I mentioned that one of the people had come into my Discord saying that he had several downloads on his game. Well, the same person that came forward and offered some games for me to check out also mentioned that they had quite an uptick in downloads on their itch page. So always glad to hear that. So that's also another reason why I want to do it again. So on Saturday, I'm going to be streaming some more bad RPG Maker games. And then next Wednesday, I'll probably do another game dev stream. So until then, thanks so much for joining. Check out all the stuff in the description. And like, comment, subscribe, you know, the YouTube stuff. And that's it. Bye.